All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Walks of Wisdom Wednesday. If you are watching this and you are not already part of our Walks of Wisdom community, head on over to walksofwisdom.com, get your free membership area account set up, get into our community, and you can see all of these awesome episodes in one place in the video and audio version, so depending on how you want to consume the content. Excuse me. But today, we've got some new concepts that I'm going to go over with you, and man, I absolutely love bringing these outside world conversations in and sharing them with you guys, because that's really where a lot of this comes from, is my experiences and my interactions with people in real life. And so today, what I really feel like I'm giving is a warning more than like straight up information. But the topic for today is to choose your energy interactions wisely. Now, there's a lot going on in this title, so I'm going to break it down for you guys. Number one, our entire world consists of nothing but energy. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole science of this, but if you break things all the way down to the molecular level, it is just a combination of how energy is interacting. That's what creates the different types of molecules that we have that form the cells that create our bodies, and the trees and the rocks and this truck driving by me, and everything is a development of energy from the ground up, okay? And so once we understand this, we realize everything that we do is an interaction with energy. It's an interaction with the things on the outside, the things inside of us, the people, the everything that we deal with, okay? So the reason that we have to understand this part is because energy does not ever get created or destroyed. It simply changes form. Now, what this means is that because energy is here and it is going to continue to be what it is unless it changes form, we have to really kind of accept it for what it is. Very, very difficult to change the form of energy. Now, if you freeze water in an ice cube tray, it's going to become an ice cube. That's changing the form of energy. But for the most part, as people, we can't put somebody in the freezer and make them a popsicle if we don't want to deal with them, right? And so the energy that we deal with is sort of what it's going to be. And so if we take that off of our plate of trying to change energy forms, we can take a lot of stress out of our world. Not having to change what it is and just choosing what it is that we interact with in the form that it's currently in is the magic that's going to allow you to just eliminate so much stress from your world. Now, guys, number one, you can't control everything. You can't control every interaction of energy that you ever have, but you get a lot of choice. There are a lot of times throughout your day where you get to choose the situation that you're in and the people that you're around and the emotion that you emit. Those are all energy interaction choices, all right? The type of work that you do, the way that you make money, the contribution you give to society, the way that you parent your children, how you have relationships with your family, all these things are energy interactions. And so we need to make sure that the ones that we have the ability to make the choice about, the ones that we're not forced into or just happen by because, the ones that we get to choose where we work, who we interact with as friends, who we date, all kinds of stuff, okay? That's in your choice. And so when you go into these situations, realize that it's not your job to change any form of energy that is in that situation. Your only choice is to decide whether or not you want to be involved in that interaction with that form of energy. All right, so for example, if you show up at work every day and the people that are there are awful, they just have a negative mindset because they don't like what they do and they feel like they don't get paid enough and the boss doesn't care and the company is about to go under and whatever, recognize that. Talk to yourself a little bit and say, wow, this is not a good energy, and this is not a good energy, and this isn't a good energy. How much of this do I want to be involved in? Now, obviously, if you've got some job that pays you enough to get by for today, may not be wise to run away immediately, but you get to choose how long you want to continue that. And so if that's how you pay the bills, maybe choose a different way to pay the bills, and choose a different way that you interact in order to pay those bills. And that will automatically move you away from the situation currently that sucks in interaction and energy, but allows you to pay the bills, okay? So this is kind of a basic concept of this. But there's, not always just like, oh, you don't like the people at your job, quit your job. Sometimes we're in a situation we can't leave. Maybe it's family, okay? Maybe it's a situation where you've got one or two people, sometimes it's more than that, but usually there's, not a ton of your family that you don't get along with. For whatever reason, maybe you have different political viewpoints, you like different football teams, you're on opposite sides of, competing companies at work. I don't know what the hell the goal is for you, but a lot of times you get into these quarrels with family where it's like, man, I don't agree with how this person makes choices and what they're talking about and their morals and whatever the situation is. You can't remove that person as part of your family. But what you can do is choose how often and in which ways you interact with that person. If this is somebody outside of your immediate, spouse, kids, local, very tight-knit family, if this is like, a cousin or an uncle or grandparent or, I don't know how far removed you want to talk, but like anybody that isn't inside of your household on a daily basis, you get a pretty strong choice about whether or not you want to interact with this person. Because if that person does nothing but bring a feeling of negative energy during your interactions, I don't recommend to have those interactions very often. So, if you guys both want to be at the same holiday party and you do the casual wave and you say hi and how's your friends and whatever, like, choose what that interaction level is, and it can be very minimal and very inconsistent to allow you to mitigate how often you feel forced into that energy interaction, okay? But if this is something like you just don't get along with this person and it's just not working out anytime that you guys talk to each other, don't try to go into business with them. You know what I mean? Make sure that you are separating yourselves in those times where the interaction is expected to not necessarily go well. Because you've done something in the past, you have a memory of what it was like during that thing. All right, so a lot of times you're going to get into situations for a first time and you'll have no idea what you're walking into. And so this is where you want to learn and engage in a way that allows you to create a decision-making process of whether or not you want to engage in that kind of situation again. That's how we get better at life. But most of the time, the decisions that we make are based on the emotions that we feel. All right, the emotions inside of us, guys, this is an amplification of energy. Now, if you understand energy, we're talking about polarities. We're talking about North Pole, South Pole, magnetism. All right, so North and South have to connect together in order to attach. You can't have two norths come together, okay? So a lot of times, the energy that comes in isn't necessarily because you're on opposite sides of the coin from somebody. Maybe it's because you're really similar. If you've ever taken a personality test, for example, there's one that Tony Robbins does called the DISC profile. And in that, the first letter of accountability is D, is dominant. Okay, and this is sort of the leadership role. This is very much my alley, where I'm okay with getting out here and physically talking to people and speaking my mind and interacting on a high level and lots of energy and all that kind of stuff, okay? So when I get into a room with somebody that has similar energy, even though we're kind of going in the same direction, it can feel competitive. And so I have to recognize, okay, maybe this isn't the situation where I need to be the loudest voice in the room or the person, leading the situation or whatever it may be. we have to understand how to engage in those situations where we can't necessarily control what energy is involved. All right? And so you have to mitigate yourself, and you have to understand what the energy is coming out in the situations that you're in, and what factors are within your control to be able to adjust in that. Okay? So if it's a negative thing, and it is just something that is polarity, it's just opposite from you, and it just really turns you off, figure out how to avoid that situation, or at least the source of that negative energy. Because man, you cannot have positive energy and negative energy at the same time inside of you. All right? Now, energy is attractive. It's very attractive. So when you are around something that is positive or negative, it is going to draw you in, whether or not you are in a positive or negative state right now. So guys, understand, if you are around a negative energy source, somebody who is just toxic, I don't care how good of a mood you are in, if the level of their negativity is stronger than the level of your positivity in the moment, it will suck you in. It will turn your negative energy levels up. It will lower your positive energy levels. It will start making you feel like crap. You're going to just not be able to maintain a good energy level yourself. All right? But the opposite can happen as well. And this is the real silver lining with the energy things, guys, is you can avoid the negative, but seek out the positive. Look for those good energy sources. Hopefully I can be one of them for you. If you haven't already tapped in and want to do this every week, man, hit that walksofwisdom.com. That's where really all of this is coming out. I'm going to give you guys lots of good energy, okay? But seek that out. Look for those sources that you feel bring you up, that make you feel positive. Because if you're in a kind of down mood, for example, and your energy isn't all that good, if you know of a source of good energy, you getting involved in that, it's very attractive. It's going to pull you in. It's going to change your energy to match that source of energy that's being exposed to you. So again, realize the control is yours. It is about the choices of how you interact with the energy that is around you, and choosing which energy you want to be around you as much as possible. Do not waste any of your time trying to change energy. It is not your job to fix the world. All right? So if you're around somebody negative and they have a negative mindset and you don't agree with it, walk away. Don't talk to them. If you're up in their face and you get all negative emotional and you're trying to convince them that what you're saying is right, blah, 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 all it's doing is amplifying that negative energy. You're not going to change that person's mind. Holy crap. They are very dedicated to whatever it is that they're already negatively emotionally involved in. So if that's their choice, let them have that choice. It's not up to you to change it. It's up to you to focus on yourself and how it is that you choose to interact with your energy. What energy do you bring to the table? Are you becoming that negative source of energy that people are looking to avoid? Or are you a positive source of something that they are seeking out to make them feel better about their own interactions? All right? So again, guys, very much topic today based around ground level, everything, absolutely everything in the world. The sunlight that is coming out here, you know, these little kids that are over here riding their bikes and just enjoying the day. You know, the flags blowing because of the wind, the birds that are flying around me, the wind that is blowing the trees around, like everything that we can see and feel and touch and involve ourselves with in any way is made up of energy. And the more positive energy you seek out and the more negative energy you learn to avoid, the more you learn to create a positive energy inside of yourself, and the more appreciation you will have for absolutely everything and every person around you. So guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. If you have questions about this energy stuff, it can go a little bit deep, and I try to keep it base level for you today, but I'd love to answer any questions you have. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you guys are watching this live, if this is a replay for you. Make sure you've head on over to walksofwisdom.com, get involved in our community. It's 100% free, and you guys can watch these episodes and be involved as I make them and interact with me live. So appreciate your guys' time. We will see you next time.